the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway in my journey so far and over the last couple of years is just, you know, get around people that are doing what you want to do. I know we hear
Mm,
Pace and Carl and Abraham talk about this all the time, and I truly believe that that you just need to get around people that you want to, you know, emulate, or that have something that you want, and just kind of pick their brain, bring them value, and just work towards not necessarily copying them or
sure.
being just like them, but at least learning from them and figuring out what's made them successful. But the networking part has just been huge, in both communities. Um, Being able to connect with other people that have the same vision, the same goals, has been huge. That too, so we can.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm so excited to have y'all here again in another episode. I'm so pumped with this episode. We have Angelo Peña. He's from Peru. Lo conocí a él en un evento en Atlanta. Um, it was a real estate investing meetup, and he was there, and empezamos a platicar. Estaba con uno de sus partners. And then the next day I got to meet him again at a Dealmaker event. Es un evento en donde se charla y se platica de cómo adquirir negocios. Y ahí es donde empezamos a platicar más y está haciendo cosas muy grandes. Él está ahorita en Arizona, right, Angelo?
Yes, correcto.
Awesome, awesome. Well, without any further ado, I definitely want to pass you on the floor and tell us a little bit about you, man, like where you grew up, where you're from, just to give us a little bit insight, and then we can take the conversation from there.
Yeah, thanks, Edgar. Appreciate you having me on, and yeah, I'm happy to share my story and what I've been working on. So, my family's is from Peru, like I mentioned earlier. I was born and raised in California. I moved to Arizona like eighth grade, so like in the mid '90s. And Arizona's been my home for the last almost 30 years. Um, I've I've always been in sales. In fact, up until last year, I've maintained a W-2 for the longest time. Always been in a sales commission based role, and I've excelled in sales, and I think that's my strong suit is really just understanding people, knowing how to build rapport, how to get people to like you, to trust you, and then essentially sell them something. So sales is really my background. That's what I've been doing most of my life. Although I've been an entrepreneur since the day I can remember. I've always had side hustles when I've had the W-2, but last year, actually the year before, really kind of my trajectory, kind of propelled me into entrepreneurship full time. And
Mm,
I think with the way the economy is and the way things are going right now, I honestly, truly, wholeheartedly believe that it is risky to be a W-2 employee. No offense to anybody out there that's a W-2. I
yeah.
think you have a W-2 as well, but
Yeah.
if you really think about it, um, your job can cut you at any time. A lot of times we're just a number in these big companies and big
Mm,
corporations. Their point of view, we're just a number. And being in a sales organization, I think it stood out even more. So a couple years ago, I joined Subto, and that's really where it all kind of started. I joined Subto as a buyer. I was
mm,
making really good money as my W-2. I wanted to build a real estate portfolio, but I didn't want to get into wholesaling or into I didn't want to do the phone calls and do that stuff because I was occupied with my job. I was doing really well, and I had some cash I wanted to invest. So I figured I'd join Subto. and connect myself with people that are generating leads, people that are doing deals, people that are active and the leaders. And, within the first few months of me being in Subto, I was a private money lender for a few leaders here in the Arizona Subto community. And then shortly after that flip, I was able to buy a property that we turned into an Airbnb that's doing really well.
Nice.
And then, right after that is when I met Abraham Gray.
Mm.
And Abraham Gray really opened my eyes. He introduced me to business acquisitions. Like I said, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. And, my first business I started in 2013, which was more of a passion project. And, it wasn't a very profitable business. I lost a lot of money, but I gained a lot of experience. I learned so much. I got some valuable connections, and it was like my first experiment in the true business world. And but yeah, that was in 2013. But after I met Abraham Gray a couple years ago, that's when he introduced me to business acquisition. And between him and Carl and Pace and everybody else, all the other mentors that I have, it just doesn't make sense to start a business, at this day and age. I think there's a lot less risk involved when you acquire a business.
Mm.
And, hanging out with Abraham, joining Prodigy, I was able to learn the process, learn the best practices, and most importantly, be surrounded by a community that really supports you, encourages you, and just wants to see you succeed. So, man, it's been awesome. I love my Subto family. I love my Protege family, and I think between real estate and business acquisition, I think that's how you really truly build wealth. I don't think you should just limit yourself to one. I
Mm.
think to really uh, like I said, build wealth, you have to have a balance of both. And hanging out with Abraham and just learning everything from him and Carl just really opened my eyes. And it really opened my eyes to the point where, in most cases, traditional long-term rentals can cash flow anywhere between $300 to
Right.
$1,000 a month, right? So when you think about your situation, your lifestyle, what it takes to set yourself free from a W-2, I started to do the math, and I was like, man, I need a lot of properties
Right.
to set myself free. But on the flip side of that, with business acquisitions, I mean, it could only take one business to really set yourself free and get that financial freedom that I think we're all seeking. So, part of my journey has been very it's been very dependent on the community and the people that I've surrounded myself with, and now
Mm.
even in the businesses that I'm in, um, I've partnered up with some people that are experts in their industry. So even though I wouldn't say I'm any expert by any means in the entertainment space, we're working on uh, we're working on our third concept in the entertainment space.
Wow.
And I literally had zero experience in the entertainment industry beforehand, but because I was able to find people that are active, people that have been successful in the entertainment industry, it made it that much easier for me to take a leap into industry that I've never been a part of, knowing that I have that support system and the other people that my partners that really understand the business. And collaborating, we can achieve a lot more than if I was to just do something on my own or individually. So yeah, I think the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway in my journey so far and over the last couple of years is just get around people that are doing what you want to do. I know we hear
Mm.
Pace and Carl and Abraham talk about this all the time, and I truly believe that that you just need to get around people that you want to, you know, emulate, or that have something that you want, and just kind of pick their brain, bring them value, and just work towards not necessarily copying them or
Sure.
being just like them, but at least learning from them and figuring out what's made them successful. But the networking part has just been huge, in both communities. Um, Being able to connect with other people that have the same vision, the same goals, has been huge. Unfortunately, my family is, they've always been uh, blue collar, working, hard working class, and never really came from money. So the stigma around money and business has just always been sort of negative. And sometimes you got to distance yourself from that and get around people that that are successful, that have wealth, that you eventually want to be in their shoes, and take advice from those people, because those people they've experienced it, they've been through it, and I wouldn't want to take advice from somebody that doesn't have any experience in those particular fields or industries, or
Absolutely.
whatever it is. So,
Man, brother, there's so much to unpack there, man. Thanks for sharing that, man. Where your journey from coming from Peru, living in California, going to Arizona, and the stuff you've accomplished around your network, right? Your partnerships that you've created. So powerful, man. I wanted to pick a little bit out of that and ask you a little bit more questions. Maybe we could deep dive into a little bit more of that. Like the first one, you said you've been passionate about sales, right? Sales has been your thing. If you could recall, what's one of your first sales gigs that you did that you learned from, or that kind of told you, hey, this is what I really want to do? Do you recall that situation or experience?
yeah. So I mean, I even in high school, man. I was my first sales job was working at a call center. This was back. Shoot, I'm dating myself here, but like 1997, 98.
Mm,
Um, and it was just cold calling people. I believe we were selling them a magazine of some sort.
I did that too.
And yeah, it's like one of those crazy entry level sales positions that
Yeah.
kind of introduced me to sales. And I saw that, hey, if you're good at talking on the phone, you're good at talking to people, you can make more money than you could not selling, or in any desk job or something else. So that was my first introduction to it. And then from there, I went on to work at a tire shop, where I was like the number one salesman at my store for like 2 years in a row, but I wasn't making commission. Um, the reason I stuck it out there is I really enjoyed working with our team, with my boss, and he taught me a lot about
Mm,
business and how to be profitable, how to supply and demand, expenses, and stuff like that. I learned a lot from him, but I just felt like I was being underpaid. And then from there, I joined the cell phone industry in the mid 2000s, where it was a commission based job.
mm,
And it was more of a retail face to face type of job, because everything prior to that, well, even at the tire shop, it was face to face, but everything prior to that had been on the phone.
mm.
um, which I feel like sales in person is a lot easier than over the phone, because you can see their body language, you can read them.
Yeah.
Face to face just makes a lot different. But
Facial expressions, everything,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it started on the phone, then kind of moved into the retail sales environment, and then from there, back to the phone, helping people in finance and even mortgages over the last couple of years before I left the W-2. But yeah, I mean, it was an entry level sales job selling a magazine, that wasn't too exciting back then. But for a 15, 16-year-old kid that was just dialing, making a few $100 a week, I thought it was pretty cool because, I'd have to work a lot harder, work a lot more hours at, fast food chain or something like
Right.
that, to make that kind of money. So yeah,
That's pretty
that's
cool how you were
what
able
I
to
did
get
there.
that thick skin at that early of the game, right? Because it's in sales, we get a lot of no's, right? I get lots and lots of more no's than yeses. And
Yeah.
there is that very few people that have that type of personality mindset that can withstand those no's.
Yeah. Like you said, you have to have thick skin in sales, man. There's no way around it. You have to be persistent and resilient if you want to achieve something. Because yeah, we get about 100 no's before you get that one yes, but
Yeah,
it adds up.
I know I was very immature at my early ages, and I didn't have that thick skin. I tried the cold calling, what you did, and then I went to selling Cutco knives, doing presentations and selling knives. And yeah, I don't know, probably just my maturity wasn't there, where I didn't have that, just it piled on those no's, and I was like, okay, maybe I should try something different.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's easy to get discouraged because yeah, I mean, if you take it personal, then yeah, it could really mess your head up, your day up, and then you're not really going to be effective at that point. So
Yeah, man, that's so cool. And now, that was the question with when it came to the sales side. And now the other question out of the conversation we had a minute ago was about network, right? The importance of your network is your net worth. Surrounding yourself with people that are accomplishing great things. And it's not, money is great. Money is a tool that allows us things, but also it creates so much more, right? Like you can give so much more, and you have so much more freedom as well. Tell us a little bit about that, about your network, how you were in sales, right? So you knew how to read people well. But if you want to elaborate a little bit more about the importance of having that network, and I know you mentioned it a minute ago, but if you can deep dive into that a little bit more, and what has helped you accomplish that.
yeah, so I think with anything in life, whether it's networking, sales, whatever the case may be, you just really have to put yourself in a position where it's a win-win for everyone, right? For both parties. And that's kind of the approach I took to when it comes to networking. Um, Bringing value to other people doesn't have to be monetary. It could be as simple as a ride or as advice or just listening to somebody vent if they're going through something. Um, Value can come in lots of different ways. It's not necessarily monetary. So, you know, having said that, I've taken that approach to networking and building relationships. I'll always try to lead with value. I don't want anything to be one sided. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm taking advantage of them or I'm using them, and vice versa. I don't want that same feeling. If I'm helping somebody out, I don't want to feel like I'm being taken advantage of. And I think that's really what has made me good at building relationships and nurturing relationships. Is that I've always come from a place where I'm looking to lead with value, and you know, within the Subto community, the very first opportunities that I had and connecting myself with others was, like I said, I was a private money
Mhm.
lender on a deal where I didn't, it was a small percentage that I made, but I knew by doing that deal I was ultimately getting my foot in the door
Mm.
with these other Subto students that are they're active, they're very they're very they're doing a lot of deals. So
Sure.
by being just a PML in that situation, it was able to lead to my investment property I was able to get shortly after the PML. Like with Abraham, something as silly as he's in Phoenix. I was free, and I don't know how Abraham does it, but he literally bought a flight to Phoenix, didn't have a hotel, didn't have a ride. He just came on a whim, just kind of like, you know, just taking a shot in the dark. And I'm like, and he was like, hey man, I'm in Phoenix, by the way. And, I'd already went to his event. So I'd already kind of met him, but it was something as simple as like, oh, you're in town, like let me pick you up. If you don't have somewhere to crash, like come to my house. And something as simple as that, and that kind of was this was sort of the foundation of our relationship, because now every time Abraham's in Phoenix, he hits me up, and now we're partners on some churro stuff. So we have that relationship, and it was really something as simple as just making time for him, picking him up, and hanging out with him while he was in town. With Pace, Pace is he's something else, man. I love Pace. I think the biggest way to build a relationship with like Pace is, he's all about his community. So I think the more value you bring to Subto, to the community, to other students, the more he's willing to help you and to teach you and to bring you under his wing. So I think with some of that, like I've hosted meetups for the mastermind students. I've coordinated outings for the mastermind students and stuff that he's done. I've helped his son with some of his churro stuff and stuff like that. So, value doesn't necessarily have to come in a monetary sense. It's other things. Like I said, time, just listening to someone, advising someone when you have, that expertise that they're looking for. So I think it all starts with leading with value, and then, not overstepping your boundaries. A lot of these guys are super busy. They got a lot of stuff going on. So I'm very respectful of that. And I never try to get in anyone's way. And I think they appreciate that, because, I see a lot of people in the group, and a lot of people, just they're always with their hand out, ask, but they never give anything in return. And I think, that's kind of the foundation of networking and building relationships.
Oh man, excellent tips out of that, Angelo. Gracias, man, because it's so important, right? Sometimes when you look at leaders, or when you look at people that are doing so well, the first thing to your mind is like, hey, what do you need help with? And somebody with that type of level, they're like, well, what do you mean? It's like, what can you do? I don't even know you, and it's one of the mistakes people do, when they're trying to connect with somebody that's accomplished a lot, right? Sometimes it's not about, what can you do for them? It's more to your point, what value can you bring to their community?
Exactly.
How can you help them in a different way, where they recognize, that you are there to help. So that's an excellent tip, man, because I was one of those knuckleheads that made that mistake. As is like, hey, what can I help you with? And it's like,
Yeah, you gotta figure it out. Most of these guys are not gonna just openly say, hey, I need help with this or with that. It's just kind of like, you got to figure it out. And I think that's where a lot of times people mess up, is they're just like, and I think, Pace and Abraham have even said it at their conferences. Like, I hate when people ask me, how can we help you? Because like you said, I don't know what you can do. Like, I don't know what value you can bring to me. So now I got to try to figure out how you can help me. And it's like, no, just, it doesn't have to be monetary. Just, try to figure out where you can help, and what value you can bring to these people, especially with these guys that are super busy and got a lot of stuff going on. They're juggling a lot of things. So
yeah, man. Well, I really, really, really value your time, Angelo. Appreciate it, man. Because I know you're a businessman. So let's jump into the business aspect now. You have a few partners, right? And you have a few little businesses on your own. Tell us a little bit, what type of businesses you currently run. What are you looking for? What are other opportunities you're looking for in 2024?
Yeah, so currently I'm operating a few businesses in the entertainment space. We have Spin Art Phoenix, which is my partner Dimitri is the founder, creator of this concept, and I actually met him at Abraham's event over a year ago, and he's the one that sort of introduced me. Dimitri has spin art, he has axe throwing locations, he has escape rooms. So together we have Spin Art Phoenix. We're working on Paranoia Quest Phoenix, which is an escape room we acquired that we're moving here to Phoenix sometime. We're still looking for a space for that one. That one's been a little tricky just because of the location that we need, the square footage that we need. And then the next project within the entertainment industry is Spin Art Las Vegas. So I'm super pumped about this one. Yeah. Because, Chris Moore is going to be our partner. Michael Urbas is going to be our partner as well. And the coolest part is that my daughter is actually going to be our partner as well. So
she's so cool, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. She's been a vital part of Spin Art Phoenix. She's our general manager here, and she's done such an amazing job. She takes a lot of pride in her work. She has a really good head on her shoulders. When we're talking about expansion and opening another location, I was looking for a potential partner, and I'm like, why am I looking elsewhere? I need to look in house. And I presented her the opportunity, and she's on board. So we're actually going to Vegas this weekend to WealthCon. We're going to WealthCon. Abraham, Carl, Chris is going to be there, and we're gonna hopefully sign our operating agreement between us and get the ball rolling on Spin Art Las Vegas. So that's in the entertainment industry. I also own a rental car fleet that's primarily on Turo. I've been on the hunt for an automotive shop, mechanic, repair, auto body shop, and we've had LOIs. It's just been a really tough time getting those across the finish line. So we're still working on one. It's a very prominent shop here locally. It's doing really good numbers, but there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to acquisitions and some things were uncovered. So still on the hunt for an automotive business. But I think what I am probably most excited about is our roofing roll up. So within Prodigy, I bet another protege that has some experience in the roofing industry. And if you think about boring businesses, home services, who doesn't need a roof, right? Like everybody needs a roof. And in some parts of the country, they need a roof more than others. Like the Southeast, where you have hurricanes and hailstorms and, fast winds and hard winds and stuff like that. Like they go through roofs a lot more. So in our search for a roofing company, I met an operator, an owner. He's a young guy. He has multiple roofing companies. He has automotive businesses, but he also has a coaching business where he coaches general contractors on how to scale and grow their business. So he has about 15 students. He's here locally in Scottsdale, and my partner, Caleb, my partner in Protege, and Tyler, which was the actual seller that I met in person, decided to join forces and work on a roofing roll-up where Tyler is the roofing expert. So, he knows the industry. He knows the ins and outs. He has the expertise, the experience. I mean, he is, the technician in that business, if you will, where he'll focus on business development, business growth, implementation processes. And me and Caleb will focus on the acquisition side of things. So, the sourcing, lead sourcing, talking to sellers, and then getting those deals to the finish line. And really the 5 to 6 year plan is to acquire between 7 and 10 roofing companies that we can then sell to either private equity firm, hedge fund, or a trade buyer. And then we're looking, at a 9-figure exit. So it's the biggest deal that I've been a part of so far. And it's really exciting because, I hear Carl talk about deals where you got to put your big boy pants on. And I've done some deals. I've done some deals. I'm not going to take anything away from myself to discredit myself, but I want to do bigger deals, and this is the bigger deal that we're working on. So it's super exciting because I feel like within the community itself, I found my partner, my integrator, and then through the outreach with sellers and talking to business owners, we were able to kind of paint the picture to someone that's already successful, and he's on board with us, and he's even more excited than us, I think, because he sees the potential, and he sees the potential, and it's like we're kind of accommodating ourselves or positioning ourselves where we're leveraging our strengths.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he's the technician, we're the deal makers, and together, we're looking to acquire more roofing companies and do a roll up. So in about 5 to 6 years, we're looking at a really, really big exit, and that's really exciting for me because, like I said, I've done some deals, but we're talking a big number here, and it's a big vision, big goal, and it just it gives me, it motivates me to get out of bed every day and get to work, awesome. and work towards this big goal, because I truly believe 5 to 6 years from now I'm going to look back and be like, man, that was freaking amazing how we had this vision, we came together collectively, we collaborated, and then we executed, which is the most important part,
right?
And now we're talking a big deal. So yeah, man, I got a lot of stuff cooking. I'm really excited about this year because things just kind of, opportunities just keep presenting themselves, and it's just a matter of me capitalizing it. And we can brainstorm and talk about our vision all day long, but if you don't take action, it's just all hearsay. It's just talk. So I definitely believe I'm a action taker. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So with collaborating with Caleb and Tyler, I just feel like we're working on something really big, and it's really exciting.
Man, that is pretty awesome, dude. I'm so stoked, man. So excited for you, man. That's a huge opportunity there. And just for some of our audience that may not know what a roll up is, what can you give us a little bit what roll up is?
Yeah, so a roll up
we use.
Yeah, of course. So a roll up is a strategy used for a bigger exit. So if you think about a business owner, one roofing company that's doing, let's say, 600,000, 700,000 in EBITDA a year, the price of the business, the multiple they're going to get is typically 2 to 4x, right? So if they're making 600K a year, they're going to get somewhere between 1.8 to 2.2 million dollars when they go to sell that business. The roll up is a strategy where you acquire multiple multiple companies in the industry. You package them together and then sell it for a much higher multiple. We're talking like 6 to 8x the EBITDA. Because now you're selling all of these companies to a trade buyer, which could be like a big corporation that has multiple roofing companies in the industry, or a private equity firm that specializes in roofing, or a family office that's just looking for a portfolio of home services businesses that already has the operations and everything in place. So it's a strategy to acquire multiple businesses and roll them up into one entity, and then put yourself in a much higher multiple. So the exit is just, that much more profitable and just a much bigger number. So honestly, I didn't even know what a roll up was until I joined Prodigy. I've been in Prodigy for a year, and I hear Carl talking about his $1 billion roll up all the time. And I'm like, man, like I'm not. And I think a lot of times, as individuals, our limitations are just our self-limiting beliefs, or our lack of knowledge, right? We don't
Yeah.
understand what a roll up is, or we don't even know what a roll up is, or never even heard of that concept. So therefore we just, it doesn't even exist. It's not even a thought. But the moment that I heard Carl talk about this, I was like, wow, this is a pretty cool strategy to like really get to the next level. And then again, just kind of networking and connecting myself within the Prodigy network. I was able to meet Caleb, and Caleb has experience in a roll up. He's been a part of a roll up before.
Wow.
So, it was just kind of, all the stars kind of aligned and everything. So, like I said, I didn't even know what it was until about a year ago. And it's pretty cool to be working on something like this, not even a year later.
Yeah, that's so powerful, man. It's such a you mentioned it, right? What you don't know, what's that? There's a saying like you don't know what you don't know, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly, man.
And it's crazy how you could buy one business and then go buy another one, editing them, put them all together and then sell that entire package. So
Yeah.
much in there, man. But thank you. Hey, Angelo, as a Hispanic, right? I'm from Mexico. Super proud of what you're doing, man, and your inspiration. It's to any young Latinos out there, that you want to share something with. I'm in my 40s already, but if even to us, right, at our age, some words of wisdom, that you want to share with us. I know you said action, right? We got to do action, and we got to say what we do. Those are true, right? In our day and age where we see these youngsters, right? Uh, I don't know if they lack the action taker or say what you do type of thing. But if you had a few other words, man, that could probably inspire these youngsters or even old farts like myself. What could you
Yeah.
share?
Yeah, man. I think regardless of age, this really goes for anybody. If there's something that you want to get involved with, something that you want to do or pursue, get a mentor.
Mm,
Mentorships are a game changer, and I feel like if you're younger, it could really propel you into a success at an early age. So yeah, I've had success at a young age, and I've done some things, but I feel like now after getting mentors and surrounding myself in good communities like Protege and Subto, now I really see the trajectory on an upward trend.
mm,
Um, so regardless of whether you're young or old, if there's something that you're looking to get into, find a mentor, because it's a game changer. It's a shortcut. It's a hack.
mm,
It really, it could really propel you into success much faster than you doing it on your own without a mentor. When I first started my business in 2013, um, I didn't have a mentor. I was doing it all by myself. I had a partner, but I was like a control freak where I didn't like really trust him, and I wanted to do. I thought I had to do everything myself, but until I got a mentor that opened my eyes, like Pace really. The Pace was the first one that really mentioned who, not how, because I think
mm,
that's super powerful. A lot of times we get hung up on how to do things when really it should be who can do that for me.
mm,
And the who not how is it's a super powerful book. That's another thing I'd recommend to youngsters: read Who Not How. You got to be someone else's who, right? You got to find your who that can help you get to where you want to go,
mm,
but you have to be someone else's who. You have to be able to help other people, presenting them opportunities, being a support or a support system for them, letting them vent, whatever the case may be. Doesn't have to be monetary, but being a who for
mm.
somebody else will help you find the who's that you need to accomplish what you want. So advice would be get a mentor and read the book Who Not How.
Oh man, solid gold right there, brother. Well, I don't want to take up much of your time again, Angelo. I know you're busy, man. You got a lot of stuff going on. I wish you all success out in Las Vegas, man. I think that Ryan Pinetta is going to be there as well, right?
Yeah, it's
So
Ryan's event, so yeah,
yeah.
should be cool.
So man, it's gonna be awesome, man. Super happy for you. And again, thank you, gents, ladies. Hope y'all took some notes. Appreciate Angelo's time again. Thank you, man. Before we let Angelo go, I definitely want him to share, where he could be reached at. Anybody want to ping him or know a little bit more about him? I'm pretty sure you can check him out probably just YouTube or Facebook, or let us know, Angelo. Where could people follow you?
Yeah, so Instagram and Facebook. My handle is Angelo Peña. The O is a 0, so ANGEL 0 PENA. Same on Facebook and Instagram. So give me a follow, connect with me. Love to help.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Again, thanks, man. Peace out, brother. There it is.